friends, and welcome to my gaming channel. I am the Sly Paladin of the Nine. I'll be making plenty of stupid jokes like that. If that one makes any sense to you, you get 100 internet points worth nothing. But still get to have some fun. This is a project that I've been working on for almost a year so far, and it is kind of crazy. So I really have a thing for ancient Chinese mythology, ancient Chinese culture, and architecture, and all the things. And more modern stuff as well, but I really like the historical stuff. And because I've watched far too many Palace Sea dramas, I'm also really fascinated by the Forbidden City and just trying to get a feel for the size of the thing. And I thought the best way I could come up with to do that was through building it in Minecraft. But to up the difficulty level a little bit, I decided to do the whole thing in survival mode as opposed to creative mode. And by and large, this was in easy mode, so there were spawns, but they weren't like super tough. Occasionally when I got bad and just wanted to get back to a place I died, I'd put it in peaceful, but by and large, it's been in survival mode. Now this video is being recorded in peaceful mode because I don't want to deal with mobs. I already had one of them blow me up a little bit ago. So, this project is pretty big, and it's also kind of crazy. So I wanted to show you, the sort of, kind of a time-lapse-ish of some of the terraforming and things that I've had to do, and talk a little bit about all these steps that I've had to take in this project so far. And I'm probably about half done. I don't know, we'll see. But so this is an early point in the construction. I've just started building the gates, and I wish I'd thought about it when I was doing this because I have it oriented the wrong direction. The Forbidden City runs north-south on its long axis, and I've got this one running east-west, but we're going to pretend it's facing the right direction because there's no way I could redo the whole thing at this point. That would be absurd. So I want to start with sort of an outside circuit of the original plateau that I was planning on building. As you can see, I've decided to use nether brick as the walls of most of the city, and that's because it's a difficult thing to get. It's very durable. It has kind of the right look, and red nether brick probably would have been more suitable in terms of the color of the walls of the Forbidden City, but this is actually harder for me to get because nether wart grows like a weed when you bring out soul sand and just a little bit of it. So it's really easy to get a hold of the nether wart, which is like half of what makes up the red nether brick, as opposed to getting a hold of just the nether brick to make this netherite brick. So that's the choice I made there. The stones like this is largely because it looked the most like what I've seen in pictures of the Forbidden City. And I'm basing this almost entirely off of a single photograph, not a photograph, but a single map that is very stylized, and so there will be some design choices based on that may be inaccurate, but it still gives me sort of a scale. But we're going to kind of look at this is one of the corner towers, and this is going to be our starting point for each time we change maps, because I've got a couple of maps where I sort of made a copy and then left this one behind and kept advancing that way. So I have 3 different maps that we're going to jump through. So we'll start here and we'll make a circuit of the outside edge. This particular portion of the platform is 500 squares on a side. The final product will actually be a rectangle going much further back, but I started with the 500 and then moved from there. And so one of the things I want to sort of show you is that this was, a sizable river. There was a pillager outpost, bane of my existence. And I had to level a lot of space off. And the reason I chose this location is because there's the village right there. And as you can see, there is a lot that is relatively flat. There is one mountain and a big sand hill that are both problematic, but also kind of impressive. So I have rules for building the platform. The level 68 can be any material, don't care, but it has to be a continuous sheet here. And then level 69 has to be some sort of what I call fused materials. So stone, just straight up stone, is acceptable. I take terracotta, I'll use cement, igneous rocks, so like granites, andesite, diorite, and for the record, by training I'm a geologist and I work in volcanic systems, so the geology of Minecraft makes me laugh so hard. And one of these days I'll get into it if there's interest, but it's pretty funny. So the first step obviously was that I had to level all of this off and then create the bottom platform and then cover it with a fused platform. And that's kind of the order that I did it in. So we're just kind of taking a look. Now this is the mountain in question. And that was I want to jump off it and land on a slime square tower. That's what that was for. So I could get that achievement. And that's one of the reasons I will never go into creative mode, is because I want to get those achievements. Right? So this was the mountain. And I say was. As you'll see, it isn't anymore. And that's kind of half the fun with this. But so we can just kind of take a look and see, you know. Oh, fused sandstone is another fused material that I'll use for that upper layer. And then the stone or dirt or whatever, it's tiles a lot of times. But as you can see, there is quite a lot of mountain around here. And we're going to have to do something about it. And we will. We're going to run because honestly, this is just huge. And it'll take us hours. Now what's funny is I've already cleared this in the next map. But I still almost feel compelled to be like, ooh, copper, ooh, copper, ooh, copper, and dig it all out. And the reason for that is I decided to make the roofs out of copper. And that means you need a lot of that crap right there. These videos are not specifically made for kids, but I think that was about the naughtiest word I will typically say. So, you know, it shouldn't be too primitive because, you know, my child is listening. Got to be careful there, right? Now this is another section of mountain that it's kind of handy to take a look at and just sort of remember. And maybe I'll do some like side-by-sides at some point. But mountain, sand, so much red sand. The Bay of Squids, that's where I go to hunt squid. I need a lot of squid, as you'll see, because to collect materials, especially earth materials like stone or terracotta or any of that, you got to use a pickaxe. And all of my tools, as a rule, have the mending. And in the second video, you'll see the village where I actually get the mending books from. I have about 3 librarians there that will sell me those books. Hooray, hooray, hooray. And we'll visit them in the second video when we go into the nether. But for now, we're just looking at the outside edge, which, like I said, is 500 on a side. I have fallen off, so now I have to find a way back up, which is rude. But actually, we'll go over here and see the second village. And just appreciate the size of the mountain relative to the size it's going to become. It's pretty crazy. So this would be kind of my base platform level here, because that's 68, and I gotta level everything off to that, or 69 if it's got terracotta as the surface, like that stuff right there. I think terracotta is probably my favorite building material in this wonky game. And what's really funny about Minecraft for me is I didn't start playing this until about 2 years ago. And I'm kind of the household expert on it these days because I do a lot of redstone engineering. Like, I just like to figure out how it works. So this is our second village. And it will not persist because it ends up underneath, like, the middle of the city. But, you know, this was my place to come and do pillager raids for a long time. Now I don't do pillager raids because I finally made them go away. Yay. Hate them. And I will eventually tear down this entire village and relocate the villagers that can be relocated and their pets. So, another thing that I have to take out is this sand dune. Goodness of mine. And all of those spires and this temple. It's sort of ridiculousness, which is like 2/3 of the fun. I like to be absurd. I mean, my life is absurd, so why the heck not? Gotta level all of this off, and a lot of it's just I dig out the sand, and I'll show you how I dig out the sand because it's kind of funny, and relocate it into the low areas. I feel like I'm just pushing sand up, right? So here's our 500 line, and you can see 4,500 is our X coordinate. Kapow. And here we go. All right, so if you've played this game particularly much at all, you know that this trick works. So that's how, you can remove a lot of this stuff pretty quickly. And that's the large part of how I did it. And I'm continuing to do it because I'm not done by any stretch of the imagination. But this is our 500 line. And, in each map, we're going to come back and run this line just to see how things have changed over the course of a couple of months. And an obsessive amount of time working on it because I am working as a science fiction author at the present time. And as such, I'm home sitting here on the couch quite a bit. Unfortunately. Well, fortunately, unfortunately. A couple of years ago, I managed to just break the absolute living bejesus out of my leg and can't get around real easily, so it's fine, right? Here we are, back out in the sunlight, which is kind of nice. All right, we're coming up on the corner. You can see I'd started working on the platform out here, across the water. There is a lot of water underneath. And one of the reasons I made the platform the way that I'm making it and with the specific compositions I'm making it is to prevent any incidental creepers from blasting a hole all the way through. The more fused material will not give as well as readily, so it's easier to just maintain the platform. I also have lights everywhere and a ballistic ton of ocelots running around to help prevent that as well. But here is our outer edge that we're going to compare with as we run back. Whee! It's not actually that much fun, but it is what it is. And it's more fun once we get to the next couple of levels. This pillager outpost is going to come back into play in kind of bizarro world ways in the near future. And it will be the bane of my existence. Or rather, it was. I finally figured out how to make it stop doing what it was doing. I was very proud of myself. This is going to be the moat. I don't know if the Forbidden City actually has a moat, but I wanted one to keep creepers away from my walls. As you'll see, I have the moat set up so that it pushes things out and away from the walls so they can't damage it. And then I'm cladding the bottom part in obsidian because that's resistant. There we go. Here's the supposed to be Western Meridian Gate. It's actually facing south, but we are going to pretend that that's the west. So here's this platform, and I look at the map and then I read the names and I look at pictures of the buildings themselves, and that's how I sort of settle on the design choices that I'm using. As well as the labels, so like the building that's going to end up right about here, which we're going to go ahead and transition now to the next map and see how fast it goes. It's been being really slow today. I may have to zip through this, shift it into turbo. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, the map I was looking at. So that spot is going to be the Hall of Martial Brilliance, so I can't remember the exact name of the map. I really should have, or the building, I should have looked it up. But so, I'm trying to make this a functional city that is true to the map, true to the respectability of the place. That's why I want to pick materials that are sort of difficult to, or challenging at least to obtain. And, Also, each courtyard needs to be sort of self-sufficient. So I've got different courtyards are going to have different villager types, basically, as you'll see. So the first one is sort of the tools and armor and weapons courtyard, where that sort of stuff is going on. And so all of the workstations for that kind of thing are going to be in that corner. And here we go. It is doing the thing with a little bit of alacrity, which I do not mind. Maybe. Okay, so come on. It's slow. My Xbox is an Xbox One, so it is not a baby. It is old. Okay. All right, so now we are starting at the netherwort farm, as it were. And we're going to make our circuit again. But, you know, we'll look around a little bit because things have gotten a little bit more complicated. And we'll finish by going up here to the, what I refer to as the temple. And that is where I was my first base when I started this project. It was just kind of a spot to base out of and be safe and all that jazz. All right, here we go. As you can see, the wall is starting to build up a little bit better. The gates are getting a little bit more built. And so this is the first courtyard. Been growing a lot of trees up there. And this is the hall of, I want to say martial brilliance, but I don't remember. But this is just the, where I've got a lot of different pieces of armor and weapons and stuff on display. And then this whole courtyard is sort of dedicated to all of the crafting stations that would be related to tools, weapons, armors, that sort of thing. So we've got our regular furnaces in the first little bay here. Bay number 2 has blast furnaces. We've got the Fletchers, grindstones, blacksmith anvils, and the smithing tables. And so that makes up the, you know, like functional part of this courtyard. And then the other part is where they live. And so each courtyard is designed to be entirely self-contained. So they grow their own food, they have their own cooking areas, they have their own bedrooms, bathrooms, everything. I'm not in love with this bathroom setup. I'm still working on, like, the toilets look weird, but the sinks actually kind of look okay and the bathtub is functional. And then this is the sleeping area where I put a lot of beds. And then this goes through to the little farm area where they're growing their food, and we have lots and lots and lots of chickens. Additionally, over there is just where I was mining wood, basically, making these gigantic trees and then chopping them all down. We can kind of take a look at how much the platform has progressed since our previous visit. It's come out a little ways, and you'll notice the pillager outpost is not there anymore. That doesn't mean they've stopped spawning in the little monsters. Anyways, so bedrooms, bathroom. I like the exposed beams in this one. And I try and do a lot of things really consistently throughout the entire city. So when I put in the lights, which you'll see here in a minute, I actually have ground lights later on. And here is the kitchen-ish. You know, we've got a smoker and these fire pits. And then we have a little dining room. Cute. And a lounge. I think it's adorable. And you'll notice in all of the, like, living spaces, I like to use this colored glazed terracotta just because I think it's pretty and kind of fun. All right. You'll notice up at the top of the wall, I've put every 10. There is a soul soil that's on fire, so we get that nice blue flame. This is hilarious. It will not be there in the final at the end of things, but right now, I think it's hilarious. It's a... It's for jumping. Burp, that was rude. Alright, so here's our outer wall. The moat's coming along quite nicely out there. And we've started building the river and the golden water bridges, which are the first bridges as you come in through the south gate. The south gate's starting to come together and look really nice. We're not going to go in there. We'll go into that when we get to the final build. And here is our mountain. And it's starting to get chopped down.
I just got some. And also maybe cut that part out.
I started doing this right when the copper mod came out, the new copper things came out, and I just fell in love with those bulbs as light sources. But the other thing you'll notice is every 10 squares in any direction I have a frog light. And the middle section of the city is ochre. The one on that side, which should be the west, but is actually the north, is pearlescent. And then I use the verdant frog lights. Eventually, I will use them over in this section as well, so that everything is well lit. And we'll tour all of these places on the next map, because they're way more finished. But this is the Hall of Literary Brilliance? I do not remember. But again, it's all self-sufficient stuff. You can see a lot of sculk. I put sculk catalysts up there because the sculk helps me take down the mountain and gives me experience to recharge all of my tools, which all have, like I said, the mending on them. But now, let's go back to the round we came through. That's going to be rabbits. That one's going to be carrots. That's not going to be a wall. You know, it's the little things. You can kind of get a hint of what's coming. This is why I put in more doors. I hadn't gotten to that part yet. I like to pretend that the crimson doors are not doors, that they are like secret doors, because I don't have that particular mod in here. So now, kind of remember this area. We ran down this the first time. Now it's a lot more open. We get into the big cavern here. Dug this out a lot more. Running on the 69 because it's fused. And I'm not adverse to using terracotta for the 68 level either. It's just what's available for the 68 level. There's another village just over that edge. And we're off. Diorite. It's hilarious. I love the diorite. For bizarro reasons, but you know, geologist. What we do. There we go. All right, so again, this has not been particularly cut down, this particular section. Oh, it is survival mode. I did not remember. I had not changed it for the sake of the video. So we're going to just run back this way and sleep here. There we go. Oops, I turned myself around. I am extremely good, and again, geologist, we actually make maps. Like, I'm the worst with maps. It is embarrassing sometimes. I have gotten, like, scolded so many times over my poor map making, or not map making, but reading ability. I just don't know why it's such a problem. The coordinates help. They actually make it a lot easier for me. But as you can see, I've started to sort of remove some material. I'm pushing the Mountain back there. There's the Bay of Squid. And we'll see our village friends. It's not really changed yet. The armadillos. That's from Creepy Dave's Animal Show. So past this point, nothing's really changed. So I'm not going to go all the way out to 500 because there's nothing to see there. We're just going to turn in here and head straight over to the village. Smack. Oh, darn, that hurt so... Oh, wait. A feather falling. And respiration. Up. On to land again. Whee! So, like, all of this... Those guys have to go. The village. I feel bad for this village because I didn't do a very good job relocating the villagers. They just kind of mostly got killed off by zombies. And husks. Oh, buddy. No, you're still alive in this game. It's a different timeline, sort of. So again, we've got these dunes, and this is roughly base level right here, 68, so that has to be scraped off. And then this whole mountain and sand over there has to be leveled out. This has to be leveled out. It takes some time, but wait until you see the result. It is crazy. Hup. Okay, we're almost to the other side of things. All of these cactuses turned into green dye eventually. You have to have a dye to make concrete powder, and a lot of the second level of the platform in some places is concrete. So I needed a lot of... Right. I needed a lot of dye. And gravel and sand. Sand, obviously, not really a problem. Alright, we're back to our outer edge. So that's been worn down a little bit. I've worked that down. Spreading out a little further here. And like I said, the pillager tower is not there. It doesn't stop them from spawning the little turds. I needed the wood mostly. Not a lot of wood around here. That's why I keep growing those ginormous spruces over there. And there's some big ones up at the temple. And we'll visit the temple in the next little world. There we go. And this is going to be that moat, which I'm lining with magma blocks and different colored lights on different sides. So this side is going to be the ochre, the front is glowstone, the side over there is pearlescent, and then the back side is going to be earth. Okay, but the platform is marching out over the water. Whoop. Well, that's kind of nifty. All right. And there's already just ridiculous amounts of copper in this particular thing, but, you know, gotta have more copper. I can never get enough. You'll see. All right, let's shift gears. So now we're going to go to the most recent and active builds of this project, so you can see the difference. All right, so this is the most complete version. As you can see, it's a little bit different. Let's head back over to our starting corner. Actually, let's tour the librarian's courtyard, which is kind of one of my favorites. Here we go. Now, one of the things I learned while I was doing all of this is that the biome controls what books the librarians sell. And the desert biome pretty much exclusively sell offensive weapon type enchantments. And then the others are like armor enchantments or general enchantments, so like crafting stuff. And I have all these librarians, little monsters, because I was trying to get them to sell me mending, only we're in the desert, so they're not going to. And that's why the other librarian village is still of import, because I need certain books. But, so this is where my money comes from as a rule, because I can sell them paper and paper and paper and paper and books and books and books, and it never ends. Because it doesn't take much, and I've got a lot, and I do mean a lot, of sugarcane in the whole city build. So we have lots of these guys running around. This is their sort of lounge / seating area. I think it's cute. I really enjoy trying to come up with new ways to make things look nifty. So here's the kitchen, and then the dining area. It's got 2 tables this time, a little bit different. Bees everywhere. Oh, wait until we go out the front, you'll see bees. This building is the residence. I gotta fix the roof in a couple of places. Freaking Enderman. So bedroom, bathroom. Still not in love with the bathroom style. I'm working on it. This is a work in progress. When it's all done, I'll do several videos of just tours of the different courtyards. And talk a little bit more about some things. This little pavilion here. You like that? I love the amethyst blocks. And then this is my enchanting station. And what's interesting is most workstations will spawn a villager, right? We'll have a villager that gets assigned to them and has a profession. The regular crafting table, the regular furnaces, and the enchanting table don't. So that's why there's only one, because I only need one. And then I just thought it was fun to decorate this room with lots of amethyst. And lots of books. You know, and then the downstairs portion looks like a library. I thought this was fun. We've got some tables and chairs, a couple workstations, a little desk in the corner, a little bit of a couch, a little reading nook. It's cute. I think it's cute. And really, really complicated, which is kind of the goal. So there's that. And this, the dark prismarine, oh, it was so much work to get enough dark prismarine for this. All right, so now here is our mountain. That's what's left of it. We'll go back to it in a minute, but, well, in a couple minutes. Like I said, we have quite a few ocelots running around because they keep the creepers away. And here you can see now we have the verdant frog lights on this side. I've recently cut the sugar cane down here because I had to repair the pickaxe that I'm holding, which is my Silk Touch pickaxe. I have several Silk Touch pickaxes. Let's go back to our starting point and do the loop like we've done before. Oh, I need more glowstone for that, and then I got to do it here too. We'll come back and look at this on the way down from the top. I want to get over to where we started the previous run. I like consistencies. Like I said, lots and lots and lots of sugar cane. There are mountains of the stuff. All right, so this is where things start being familiar again, right? We have the workshops courtyard over there. There's their farm, and then, and you can see on the big map in my left hand, and we'll look at that a little bit more closely in a minute, that it's gone all the way out to 500, and it's pretty solid. Words are hard. And the river goes all the way up there. We'll go up there in a little while. There are some woofs, good doggies. All right. Oh, poor doggo. So the courtyard's not all that much different. The only thing that's really changed is I put the map here, so it's a little bit easier to take a look at. So there's the 2 out of 4, and this is 1 out of 4, and then I have a 0 out of 4 up in the big hall that we'll look at, which is pretty nifty. But you can see it goes all the way back to, there's our 500. All of our little courtyards, all of our little friends. I'm gonna come out of here, check out the front wall now. My villagers kept going across the water and ending up over there and stuck, so I had to put this bridge in just to keep them from getting trapped all the time. Here you can see, and that's the weeping obsidian is there to prevent spiders from coming up the walls. This is my little mangrove swamp for when I want mangrove wood. And then, because I still could not convince these little nimrods to take themselves back to the main village, I built some little houses out here to protect them from their own stupidity. And I use them to crash if I'm on this side of things and don't want to get back in. Ooh, go up to the overlook. Oh, the sun is setting. I'm not a humongous fan of that. Hiya. There we go. We'll go up to the overlook and then book it back down. I have a little viewing platform that I'm going to continue adding to and trying to spiff up. This is the area that I come up to go down and get clay, because there's a couple of lush caverns down there. Alrighty. Charge. Rude. With the belching. Okay. So here's sort of the viewing platform because it lines right up with the main entry. Now the main gate's still not done, but it's getting there. And then I have a cattle farm. Actually, that's probably my closest bed now that I think about it. I don't want to. We'll go back down there. It's not like I can't take them if I get mobbed. And look at those lovely stairs. I just adore them. And that beautiful blue fire up there. That tower might be done. I can't remember if it's finished or not, but that's a heck of a look, isn't it? I just think that's pretty awesome. Looking down into the Forbidden City. I do not love the roof on this middle building. I'm going to be redoing it. The inflection point is just not what I wanted. And the other thing you can see is that this wall is pretty complete most of the way down. It still has a few places that it needs patched or filled in, but by and large, that sandstone mess will come down eventually. That one needs moved again, but not right now. And you can see I moved the sort of roving workspace. This is where I farm beeswax. Because all of these beehives are full of the bees. And it's just kind of a stupid amount of bees. So here we're back outside of the librarian's courtyard. I still haven't figured out how I want to do doors in the middle where it's 3 wide. And come over here so we can get a better view of that from on top of the building. This is the leather workers courtyard. That's why all the cows are going to be located over in that corner of the city. But here you can see we have completely removed this entire mountain section. That's gone. It's chopped off here. And it gets more wild as we go further up. So this is, like I said, the leatherworkers' courtyard. We've got storage for wheat, storage for leather goods, like rabbit hides, rabbit feet, leather, as well as meat in the next building over. So this building has chests for meat. And my rabbit courts. Bit of carrots growing here. We're gonna lay down for the night in one of our bedrooms, and there are so many bedrooms. Because I want it to be bustling like the Forbidden City. I mean, the Forbidden City was home to hundreds of thousands. I mean, it is huge. It is enormous, and there are a lot of people that live there. This one's another little house of bedrooms. I didn't really put like a kitchen area in this courtyard because the library one was right there. I should have. Now this is probably the coolest thing. This is where I actually have the leather workers, and it's sort of a special thing. This is my lava breeder. So you put a lava, you put a block, and then you put a dripstone tip, give it a space, and they will fill up with lava indefinitely. So it's sort of an infinite lava location. And I go through a lot of lava because I got to smelt. Don't do that. You're rude. I have to smelt all that copper ore down and iron for my rail lines and all that stuff. So I go through a ridiculous amount of lava. All right, let's continue our circuit. It's a lot easier to get out of this courtyard now because I've added more doors and gates and things. There's one. I gotta build this gatehouse because there is actually a building here. And I've got this lovely glowstone that makes up this level of the wall all the way around. Because I really wanted there to be super duper consistent lighting everywhere to prevent, hostile mobs. The other thing that's really wild about this spot, besides the fact that I've chopped off an entire section of mountain, is I've also chopped off feet of the mountain. You can see all the way through, which is pretty nuts. This area, once I got to about here, I stopped building and just kind of wanted to level things out for a while. I'm sure I'll transition back to actually following the map again. So this is really just level fill. I'm going to have to dig out a lot of these bricks, replace them with dirt, replace them with buildings, all that stuff. This mountain had at least 3 mines in it. Had, past tense. And then this wall's coming along really nicely as well. I go on up this side. The upper level, as you can see with the grates there, I have my rail line for transporting materials around. I've got a lot of rail lines for transporting materials. That's kind of what I do. Here we are under the mountain. Because it ain't a mountain proper no more. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty ridiculous. And then I've got kind of a workstation there. And then I've got a workstation up here, which is one of the crazy ones. So let's go look at it. This little corner of the mountain, I decided to see what it would be like to shave all of the terracotta off and just have the stone exposed. So I did that because obviously doing the same thing 1,000 times is boring. So I'll kind of mix it up as to how I'm doing it or what patterns I'm following. And that keeps my wee little Aspie brain happy. I am autistic, by the way, and that's what the Aspie is a reference to. ASD, but also Asperger's used to be a term for people who were on the spectrum where I am, and now it's not really used anymore, but I don't hate it, so I still use it sometimes. Or I have the TISM is another one that we'll say. But this is my express elevator. Well, it's actually pretty slow for all the crap I've been digging off the top, because I didn't want to have to transport it all down. And so I can come here, pull those, and then put them into their corresponding storage crates along here for all kinds of material. And this obviously will not be here at the end, but for now it's convenient. This is one of the tracks that I use to transport material out to the outside edge. But we're going to go back over here and run down the wall first. As you can see, this goes all the way back to 500. Now, because, I think I've already said this, the actual Forbidden City is a elongated rectangle, it's going to go back further. And we'll see how much further. But for now, we'll get to that. It's wild. Do. And as you'll note, I have quite the collection of little huts and houses all over the place. A lot of them, like this one, are going to be taken down eventually, but they're convenient for me to not get mobbed by a bunch of mobs. So there's the 500 line that we walked previously. And it is pancake flat, except for the plateau in the middle, which is built up. As you can see, the sand dunes, a fairly significant chunk of the mountain is gone. We're getting there. This is where that rail line ends, because I've been working on this portion of the platform going out that way. Oh, the frog lights. I've spent so much time in my frog farms. And then this is where the temple was, believe it or not. This is the location the temple was sitting at. And we've cut back that much further. And I'm about halfway there. Random chest full of sandstone. So much sandstone. Then we'll go back. So I've moved kind of, oh, can it, all of you. If you're suicidal, come play. But otherwise, go away. So I've cut through a lot of this. The sandstone hill that was in the middle of things before is slowly going away. And if there is interest in this nonsense, I will make more in progress videos for funsies. I don't know. I'm just messing around. And autistic, which I think is probably where a lot of this comes from, because I get my brain sort of latched onto a single concept and just go monofocus. And it's delightful. Yay, happy dopamine brain. Oh, Sophie says meow. My squeaky girl. And Moochie being a lunatic again. That's sort of her MO. So now we're at 750, which is, another 250 out. Obviously that platform's not finished. I'm just working out, and then we'll go out to 1,000 eventually. Again, this is another one of those places where I just kind of hang out. It's a workstation. It's got beds. There's a garden on the roof so I can grow food, that sort of thing. I kind of think of it as an inn at the moment, with two N's, I-N-N. Or I-N-N-E if you're Matt Vanson. There's another bonus points one. Yeah. And this, I was having some fun with the glazed terracotta colors. So now our line is at 750. And I'm growing a lot of cactuses. I don't know why. They just are. Let's head back to our 500 line. There's some brown terracotta. Stone, stone, stone. The mountain was so big, the stone came up. These obviously won't be here forever because the shroom lights belong in trees. That's my story. That's my decision, Oh, paw. Now this is just rude. Don't do that. There we go. Okay. I can come back and get those later. They're not particularly important. Up and over. Up and over. Now, rude. Again with the rude. That's my sacrificial pickaxe. There's my fortune pickaxe. There's my silk touch pickaxe. Okay, one of them. I have multiple fortune. I have multiple silk touch. I have multiple sacrificials. I can spend 30 minutes down in the deep dark and come away with 2 solid stacks of diamonds. So here's the transition between this side and the middle section with the ochre lights. I picked the ochre lights for this particular section because a lot of times certain shades of yellow were typically associated with the emperor and his family. Reds and blacks, I mean, there's a bunch of different colors that are sort of specific to the emperor. Here starts the obsession with nether quartz. I had to mine a lot of nether quartz to build that beast. And we will sleep up on the plateau. Which, you know, we might just go under, come back up on the other side. So, full disclosure, I didn't completely flatten everything under here. I just built over it because the plateau in the Forbidden City is elevated, so it made sense. But I did create that network up there so that I could have redstone for the lights on the surface, and also it, you know, eliminates things down here. This is where that village was at. As you can see, it is not anymore. It left. Well, I tore it down to use most of its parts on my platform. I couldn't remember the word for a second. It was dumb. I have several different places here that can take me down underground into like lush caves. I've got places where it's aquifers, and I'll swim around and get glow squid for my maps. So yeah, you can see there's a lot of this that is not necessarily completely cleared, but despite the dumb zombie, who is dumb, let's ditch him. Alright, now we're gonna ditch him. You can see I started to level this all out, and then I realized that the platform was going to be significantly higher, so I stopped. But it does give me some places to go around. And honestly, in the future, I'm kind of thinking I might eventually, once I'm done with the main build, level all of this out and put a maze in down here. That seems like the most fun way to use this. But, you know, we'll see. So this is sort of the central plateau. It was a lot of work to get all of that quartz. I was really proud of myself for getting all of this quartz, and in part because it really does sort of pay that homage to the deep history of this location in the real world. So this is like a fun little viewing platform. I'm sure we're going to get harassed by phantoms, but whatever. That's a pretty cool view right there. All right, so there's that platform. I'm still working on the fencing around the platform. I don't love what I've got there. But this gives you a really good look at that mountain, or what's left of it. All right. Yay, feather falling. Oh. So this is one of the first gates, and I do not remember all the names. I'll have to look them all up for my final tour. But this is one of my big map rooms where you can see that 1 out of 4 zoom on everything. Some of them are not completely updated. I got to update this corner because it's changed quite a bit, but later. And then there's a nice little gallery up here. Again, I hate the roof. I got to fix it. But I like using the warped wood. And I tried, you know, it's really hard to get some of the incredibly intricate detail that's in the real city. So I try to kind of create patterns and stuff that would be similar, I guess, or an homage to the real, you know, intricacies of the real Forbidden City. I don't love that roof either, but I like it better than the one behind me. I have so many iron golems running around. Good. How's that for you? And up here on the platform, obviously, I've got the redstone lamps. And then we come into this hall, which all this, I had to grow all the warped fungus on a little platform back behind this. It was just a long process. And then The whole ceiling is crisscrossed with it and mounted with lamps. Uh-oh, I just noticed an oops. That's not right. I'll fix that in a little bit. And then here is our 0/4 map of the whole mess. We can really start picking out details, and again, it needs updated. It's got several sections that are not current anymore, but you know, here you can see how that was just literally sliced off. Kind of crazy. There's our plateau made 100% out of nether quartz. Also insane. And this is a really pretty garden area. We'll come back down through that once we get to the outside edge again. Oh, what now? Oh, you must be up there. Whatever. Really? There's a zombie somewhere. Or a husk, but I have no idea where. Alright then. And we'll get the sword out just in case. Are you on the roof, you little monsters? It's probably in that upper section because there aren't any. The lighting up there is not great. I have to go back up and fix that. Let us take a nap. This is where I store some copper, just a little bit, and a little bit of extra nether quartz in case I need it, because I will. There are several more buildings that are sitting on these nether quartz platforms, not as big as this one, but more like the 2 tall, like that. This one was one of the ones that was really a challenge to capture the feel of the real building and the intricacy of the details, because, you know, it's Minecraft and I can't make it exactly the same, but I want it to be similar. So I settled on all of these trapdoors over the glass, and I think it's pretty nifty. And then here is our final section. I have not finished, obviously, this building. We can still see it. All right, it's time to go to the top of the mountain. Now, one of the things I want to point out is the original top of this mountain was at 120. That was the top, the highest elevation of it. And that little sticky out bit there is a house. Well, it's not really a house, but it's a room I can sleep in that's safe. If I don't want to come down and sleep under the mountain. I amuse me, which is good, because, you know, I'm stuck with me. Up, 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 up we go, up we go, up we go. Continuing up. There we go. Our highest point now is still too high. 107. So we've come down a total of 13 levels, most of them being as big as this whole platform across the top, including that section, which is down further, because that's where I decided to shave all the terracotta off. That used to be a mountain. It's going away. If there's interest, I'll go back to the first map and come up on the plateau and show the actual top of the mountain. Don't fall. It's a big gap right there. But it's fun to run across the top. And then, like we saw previously, I have the skulk catalyst set up to help me wear this mountain down, because then I can break the skulk and collect the experience to help repair my gear, which is constantly in need of repair. Okay, let's fall off the mountain, shall we? Go on. There we go. It's fine. This is fine. I'm thinking this might be the weaving courtyard. I'm not sure yet. And a lot of this is going to be changed to grass. And then back over in that area, behind this is the archery pavilion. So there'll be more Fletchers here, and there's more land or dirt as well. There's another sleeping spot. I have so many beds. They're just everywhere. Because I don't want to deal with the mobs all that much. Unless I need zombie flesh, to trade with my apothecaries. All right, let's check out the last courtyard. It's like 3 courtyards, 4-ish, kind of 5 actually, now that I think about it. And the old pillager outpost. Let's try and make it fancy with the different kinds of quartz there. This is kind of one of my favorite spots on the map just because it's so pretty. It's a little bit of a park. There are a lot of iron golems out here because I put them out here. I made many, many iron golems because this spot right here where those workstations are at was where the pillager outpost was sitting. And for the longest time, they were still spawning in at the outpost location until I put down the carpet. And the carpets have prevented them from spawning in. I do not understand it, but it works. And so now I'm finally getting stonecutters that aren't getting themselves killed. Because this is going to be that courtyard for stonecutters. But I had to put it down all down. And I'm going to change it to dark gray so it looks the same on the map instead of being a black stripe. But I had more black wool available than I had dark gray. So that's how you keep the pillagers from spawning in, it turns out. All right, so actually I don't want to go in there. I want to go in down here. So we can look on this end of things and see how far the wall is going, which is a long way. And I've got a rail line that goes most of the way out on that one as well. Hi, fisher friend. All right, the fishing courtyard. Couple of little houses back here with bedrooms. And this one was really funny to me because, there was really a tradition of being relatively self-sufficient in the Forbidden City. So they grew like lotus in the rivers and the ponds, and they had fish that were live that they kept alive and then harvested that way. So this courtyard was kind of an homage to that concept. So we have just fish everywhere and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of sugarcane. But as you can see, I've put a bunch of fish in a river. That's just a little bridge, and then I've got fishers all over the place in different levels of expertise. And then here's the kitchen area for this courtyard. And so here's our grain growing sections for this courtyard as well. And that's one of the things that's kind of important, is to have the farms everywhere so that they can self-populate. So I don't have to come and bring them bread and wheat and all that junk. And everybody just wanders everywhere. Another little fish pond. I really do like my aquariums. And then this, I'm actually going to move some of the beds around in here and turn this into kind of the living area, dining area, and an additional kitchen for the fishing courtyard, as well as, more beds. Excuse me. Excuse you. Rude. This little narrow building is just for storage with lots of labeled, lots of labeled stuff. Hi, little one. So this is the next courtyard over, and this is, I don't know what I'm doing with this courtyard yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. But bedrooms here. So it's relatively incomplete. Little pavilion. There's a special name for this hall. I don't remember what it is, but I haven't decided what would be the most appropriate flooring. So it's in the works. And the name of that hall will probably dictate what goes into this courtyard. This will be the kitchen dining area. Right now it's just smokers and fire pits. And a turtle. Don't know why. Another building, I haven't decided on how to do the flooring. I don't know what I'm doing. And this sort of shows you where I stopped really wanting to do the architecture and just wanted to tear things apart. Just hear a freaking zombie? I better not. Torches, frog lights. And now we get into possibly my favorite courtyard, the physician's courtyard. And it's adjacent to the fishing. There's sort of an overlap here. You see the fisher's kitchen. The main kitchen is here. But that's a bunkhouse where they have bunk beds. The villagers can get up to them, but then they can't get down. So they're stuck. And I don't have to go hunting for them. And I can't use them. They're blocked for me, but whatevs. So here are my physicians, i.e. the clerics, and their workstation collection. Ask me how many blaze rods went to that. I don't know, but it was a lot. And then you've got a little potato patch because poison potatoes are an ingredient in alchemy. And literally every plant that you can possibly grow is in this courtyard so far. I mean, there will be more in the next update, but I have them all growing all over the place. Even chorus fruit. I've got a little chorus flower trapped right there. I've got the netherwort. Those are the pitcher plants, azalea bushes. I need to put another piece of dirt in there. One of the Endermen stole it. It's rude. You can see all the plants. And then you have this little storage room for things related to making potions or selling to the clerics. And then finally this sort of inner garden courtyard. I really like the way the scaffolding worked out as sort of stands in here. This is going to be the physician's sort of dining and living area. And then the bedrooms, we've got these, but these are really cute back here, they're sort of private little cubbies where the sleeping.
Respawn point set.
Sleepy, sleepy. Okay. Let's go out of here. So yes, there's that. I got bamboo grown all over the place. I've got trees all over the place because I wanted to have that sort of parkish feel. All right, let's head back to where we started. We're not slamming me in the door. These are also storage areas. Labeled storage is all over the place. And then there's a whole bunch of unlabeled storage. It's kind of a nightmare, but I keep it mostly straight, so it's fine. More copper. I like the copper. And this is sort of my chicken area just as a rule because I need so many feathers for the Fletchers. Although there will be more of them over by the libraries because the librarians need feathers too for some of their books. Look at all that sugar cane. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of sugar cane. Azaleas. I love stuff that gives floaties like this. So the cherry blossoms, those flowers from the lush caves, etc. Hi, doggos. There's a good doggo. I got lots of doggos. And kittes. There's a spotted wolf. Yeah, it's such a good hyena. Alright, so now we're going to go and briefly look at the village and then check out the temple complex. Sort of our final to-do. This is the cactus farm. It automatically generates cacti. See, if it grows up, it runs into the fence, it pops off, and then the water carries it down into these hoppers. And it just builds up in there because I don't have any fuel in the furnace at the moment because I don't want to. So this was the original village. Like I said, I had to expand right there because the little munchkins wouldn't stay in the village. We've got, you know, just life around the village. It's a little greener than it was when it first started, but fairly standard for a desert village. And above it, I built what I like to refer to as the temple. I got lots of names for things that don't necessarily make sense to anybody but me, but you know, it's all good. I'm going to eventually enclose this entire temple in glass. It would not be the first time I've done something similar. What I keep hearing, it's crazy. Anyways, this I think of this as like the swimming pool, the swimming beach or something like that. Ah, okay. This was my original cleric's hut, such as it is. And all of these terraces I actually built up over a much steeper sandstone and sand slope so that I could have this nice green area. That's my end dimension area. And I'll tell you, I cheated at the end dimension in a way because I have not killed the Ender Dragon, but I've still been out to all of the big islands. I just dug a whole bunch of that end stone and created a bridge. It's a long bridge. This is where I originally was growing wheat and beeswax. Now I don't really need to because I have the other location, but this place is still here. This is a fishing farm and it's really nifty. There's my warped fungus. So I'll show you how the fishing farm works because it's kind of cool. And if there's interest, I'll do a video about how I built it. Oh, excuse me. Here's my fishing pole because it's awesome. All right, so you come up here, you target the bottom middle of that piece of sandstone, let them rip. Because I have lure and all that jazz, it's going to happen pretty fast. But even if it doesn't, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to watch it. There it goes. Because it reels itself in. And there are hoppers underneath, so everything you reel in, ends up, see that lava is what causes it to reel back. So you come down here, and let's see what we caught besides more saddles. Bottle of water, some cod. Awesome. But I don't actually fish this way much anymore because I have a more efficient method. And I'll show you that in the next video. There's that warped fungus platform. Another fish pond because I love my aquariums. There's a froggy. I got lots of frogs up here because this is one of the places that I was breeding frogs for the pearlescent froglites. This is just kind of a garden area for the temple. And then I was working on, because this world is always been in survival mode, I can get achievements. It's one of the reasons I didn't want to go into creative at all because you lose achievements. And so I bred all these sheep for all the different colors and a bunch of them got lost. But now I just have a bunch of black sheep because reasons. All right, let's go inside the temple. Run downstairs. And now we have all this. I love the amethyst when you walk on it. It's just fun. Here's my big world map. The world spawn is right about there where those green dots are. And then that's the librarian village that we'll visit in the next video. I really like maps in this game a lot. And here's our Forbidden City on the world map. So we're up and over. Fairways. And then this is the temple proper. Just some living spaces, some sort of different styles of bedrooms. You're stuck again. Why are you stuck? because you're dumb. Got it. That side's exactly the same. This spot's a little bit different. This was kind of like the main bed chamber. And it just has these enclosed sort of sideways beds that you see in a lot of the sea dramas and in a lot of the historical situations. That's just how the bed was. This one's probably my favorite of the lot, though, because the curtains are hanging down in front, and these guys are dumb. Are you going to come out, or are you just going to stay there? Right. Here's no brains. That worked out really nicely right there. All of these as a wall. So that's what this project, this particular building, was kind of an experiment in playing with trapdoors. And then I did have all of my storage up here to begin with when this was the main base. But I don't spend a lot of time up here anymore because I don't need to, so it's just here as an option if I want to come up and trade with these Nimrods. And I've got some storage up here that I still need to, eventually relocate, but for now. And I have a silly little room up here. It's my attic bedroom that this guy came into because he's a butt. He was not invited into my attic bedroom. He just came up here. It's very rude. And then I haven't actually said, all of my bases connect in the deep dark. And I've got rail lines running all over, and then I also have a transport network in the nether, which is much faster than this deep dark network, but the deep dark network is where I get all my diamonds, obviously. And it is at -51 because that is the level that ancient cities spawn in on. And you'll find ancient cities under big mountains. I've got like 5 or 6 of them that I've been working on. And eventually I'm going to do a rebuild of an ancient city because I love doing that. I turn it into a metropolis and then I bring villagers down because why the hell not? So there we go. That's the line that goes back to the main base. This is the most recent tunnel I dug in an attempt to find diamonds. Like I said, it took me like 20 minutes to come away with 120 diamonds because Fortune 3 on the pickaxe. And when you're down that deep, the diamonds are way more abundant. There's no coal to be had, but diamonds are everywhere. The other trick is to find the fossils. And once you have the fossils that are down deep, in the deep dark, or in the deep slate, basically, they will have diamonds instead of coal around them. But all of my main bases are connected here and through the nether. So let's head back up, up. All right. So I think that about covers it for this particular tour. This is where I grow kelp if I want. I have some axolotls in there. Not all of them. I used to have all of them. And then there's the frog breeding pond. I'll lure them up here with slimes and then breed them there. So in our next adventure, we're going to go through this nether portal into the nether and see some frog farms, visit my librarians down in the southern area, and visit the Ocean Monument. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you had fun, and I will see you in the next video.